Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube, /WGLNA. And as always, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, @WGLNA, so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the league around you.
Also check out battleviewer.com if you haven't already. It's the same Twitch chat you know and love, but you also get easy access to match listings, standings, YouTube, and Twitter. So as we've said a number of times already, it's always better on battleviewer.com.
That is right. Another fantastic website to check out is fantasywgl.com. This is World of Tanks Fantasy League. You guys can go on before the night starts, pick your 7 players as they play. They get you guys points. Points lead to tons of prizes, such as in-game premium time, in-game gold, and also the Hype 59 premium tank. Ladies and gentlemen, you can only get it at fantasywgl.com. But enough of me talking. You guys know what time it is. Roll the clip. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, fantasywgl.com. Now, David, for this matches, I actually picked a very spread lineup. I just picked one player from each team, and I excluded, I believe, maybe Maple Freedom. I'm not sure, but a very spread kind of lineup for tonight. Is that something you would agree with, or should I have doubled up somewhere?
Relatively spread lineup for sure.
Okay.
2 matches in particular have a chance of going long. Simp versus Lamp, kind of. Depends on, I would say, Simp would have to show up and not play as well as they should, and Lamp would have to show up and play better than they have so far.
Okay.
But the talent is there. That's the only reason I'm pointing it out at all. 07 versus Rival, on the other hand, that could very well go long, or it could be a landslide in either direction.
Okay.
Both teams have had their moments of brilliance and moments of not so brilliance.
Right.
Who knows what's going to be on that one? So that's my match to double up on for the night.
All right, you heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys missed anything from last Thursday's matches, let's take a look at the scores. First, we had some really quick games. We had Elevate beating 07 5-0, followed by Synergy beating Maple Freedom 5-1. Third was Refuse. Refuse beating Rival 5-0. And finally, High Voltage beating #RU 5-0. A theme of the night, 5-0s, except for one. Let's go through those because that was it happened very quickly. First, we had Elevate versus 07. Elevate beating 07 5-0. 07 got close when they switched on mines, but then Elevate just continued that domination. Some of the highlights you saw from that match.
I don't know if there's particularly highlights to discuss. There was a lot of interesting team battles throughout the night, but most of them took place over a large period of time, so I wouldn't quite call them highlights.
Okay.
Just in general, Elevate showed up with a very dominant, controlled play, and 07 didn't really know how to crack it.
Absolutely. Up next, we had Synergy beating Maple 5-1. Now, Maple actually won their first game on Lakeville. They lost 4 to Synergy going into Ruinberg. Then they go ahead to Maple. They pick up a battle, which is I thought was great for them. It showed that they continue to fight. They didn't give up, but Synergy quickly turned that one around. Anything you remember particularly from that battle?
You covered all of it there as well. Maple took one match away from them on Lakeville. It was a relatively close match, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And then Synergy just closed it out.
Absolutely.
They had control the whole time, as most of the teams did that
night.
Yeah,
that night was a very controlled, dominated team. Next was Refuse versus Rival. Refuse beating Rival 5-0. On the first map of the first battle, Rival actually almost took their first victory. It got down. It was actually a 4v2 in Rival's favor, but Refuse just turned it on and came back and then clean sweeped them.
Yeah, it came down to that last second cap effort, basically.
Yep.
With 2 players, I believe it was Memory Leak, or was it Dazzling Time? I think it was Dazzling Time and Sublime Banana in the 54 and IS3 combo, bullying their way past 3 different people to get the cap and the kill. Sublime catching it at the last second, or close to it, to confirm. If he didn't get that shot, they very well could have lost because he was also one shot. So that's probably the closest match of the entire night right
Exactly. And finally, we had #RU versus High Voltage. High Voltage beating #RU 5-0. A crazy statistic I went back and watched. When High Voltage would win, they actually had at least 4 tanks still alive on the battlefield. Now, what does that show just kind of that night?
Dominance.
Yeah.
I mean, High Voltage had dominance the whole time. They played on mines quite a bit. A lot of it was just up front middle fights, which is how it should be at the moment. I think there's still some some meta, some other plays to be made on mines, but
Sure.
until everybody masters that particular aspect,
We're not going to
there's
see it.
honestly no real point in doing anything else. Unless if you know you can bully a team down the middle of mines, then just
do it.
And maybe against high voltage, break out some cheeky stuff. But yeah, all around, #U just not on form at
Sure.
all. Lakeville was probably the biggest example of that. Some of the shots, pretty much all the shots for the first half of that Lakeville battle did not even come close to a target.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know what was happening, but there you have it, 5-0 high voltage.
Absolutely. A night full of dominance. Let's take a look at the standings now going into our 6th week. Up first, Refuse still on top with 20 points, but High Voltage coming into close second with 19, followed by Elevate and #U tied for 3rd. Down at the bottom, Maple, Freedom, Lamp, and Game Over. Now, David, we're still talking about last week how there are some teams that haven't played as much as the others, so that will likely continue to keep switching up. What are some of the teams? Is that still the case so far going into this 6th week?
Yes, but they're going to be caught up this week.
Okay.
Is how it should
There we
work
go.
out. So Simp, Noble, and Lamp have all only played 6 games.
Okay.
Where everybody else has played 7 or 8 for the most part. Overall, the only real emerging trend. So #U is kind of a wild card in the whole thing. If they turn it on and start playing again, it'll wreak havoc all across the brackets.
Okay.
And I can't make any predictions if that
fun to see.
happens. But assuming that doesn't, which so far doesn't look like they will, the most interesting battle I see coming up is actually Simp versus Noble.
Okay.
Simp has to beat Noble just to tie them in points. And while Simp has a lot of battles left, most of them are against teams that are below them in the brackets.
Okay.
So beating those teams while giving them points doesn't take away from the points of other people. So there's a very good chance they'll take 5th or tie Noble for 4th, 5th. Not going to get into too much speculation, but some interesting things starting to develop, and over the next week or two, they'll have some real significance.
Awesome. We'll definitely keep our eyes on to that. Speaking of Simp and the rest of the teams playing, let's take a look at tonight's matchups. They actually are playing tonight. But up first, we're going to have Noble versus Game Over, followed by Simp versus Lamp. 3rd is going to be Elevate versus Maple Freedom. And finally, 07 versus Rival. David, out of the 4 matches tonight, which one are you most excited to see, and who do you think is going to take it?
07 versus Rival.
Okay.
Because, like I said before, both teams have played well, both teams have not. I honestly couldn't predict who would take it. I think the team that, if they could just hit their shots, would most likely take it would be Rival.
Okay.
But, that's also, you could also throw the other way with 07. If you could just make the good plays that you make all the time. It's crazy.
Just do it every single time. Don't
honestly,
stop.
either team could take it. So that's why I'm interested in it, because I don't know.
Great. Well, let's see. That'll be one way to find out. That'll be the last match of the night, ladies and gentlemen. But that'll do it for our pregame show. Don't go anywhere. Well, if you're going to go somewhere, go to battleviewer.com if you're not there already. But we'll be right back with match number 1 after this. Coming across, Noble doing their best to find the home runs that they had. Hall being the focus. Durham going to pick that one up, and now the fight has exploded. HK taking down X-Soldier. Urtai looks like he's the next focus. 730 points of damage. Running into Valkyrie. Not something you want to do when you're trying to escape this Canadian Impact. Picks that one up. Valkyrie going to be the next one to go down, it looks like. Canadian Impact going to find that one. HK, though, responding by finding comps. And Dodo, back-to-back kills coming out for Rival. But Militant going to find World 2 Fnatic 8-4 now beat. Timer. They need to find Hall, and they need to find Urtai. Urtai will be a lot easier to go down. A shot going on to Sublime Banana. Nothing happening. Hall taking some good damage. Dazzling Time missing a shot, and at this time of the game, every single shot counts. 22 seconds remain. Dazzling Time got to be worried now. He's one more shot away. Sublime Banana looking to take down Hall. If he gets a shot, he'll take it. Sublime Banana picks it up, and now it is just Urtai. He has a shot loading up. If Dazzling Time returns turn in time, he'll take him out. 13 seconds remain. Urtai finding Dazzling. One more shot, and he can clamp this one up. But Sublime Banana will have the shot ready and willing. 7 seconds. He'll pick it up. Sublime Banana coming all the way. Right now. Let's see Androx coming around the corner, getting lit up in that IS3, taking over 1,300 points of damage. A couple more shots, and he will go down heavy 20, being the one to finalize that one. And now the trap has been set. Anfield on the other side of that, taking a lot of damage in T32, dropping far below half health, but heavy 20 picking up another kill. Malaysia going down. Overload Prime finding a kill against Anfield. The first pickup of the game. Blue Boys captain, though, getting extremely low himself. He is on reload. He is not going to go anywhere as Crimson seals his fate to kill Zerg. Is T32 coming around the corner to help out. Ampro finding. is looking for him over on the side of the lake. He needs to just stay behind the rocks as long as he can. 10 seconds down. A shot coming out from Abrasive. 2 shots now for Godzilla Mode. 5 seconds. He just needs to survive just a little bit longer. Godzilla Mode has his pick up, but Boone taking the kill in the final seconds. Hashtag RU find the victory 5-4. We go.
Coming in for the kill.
Fight breast cancer.
He get it?
Let's see if the TD will come through. He's on his way. He sees them. He takes a shot. Will he make it? He's lining up right to the back. He punches him and gets the ram just to rub it in. A beautiful amount of damage. Watching those RDs go TD mode, nothing like it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left, you know him, David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube, /WGLNA. If you're not watching this on battleviewer.com, what are you doing? Go over there and watch it there. And as always, follow us on Twitter, @WGLNA, so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the league around you.
While you're on Twitter, you can check out the question of the day, which is, which team's roster changes will help them the most?
So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm hoping it's going to be Lamp. Lamp picked up Mort, I believe, moving JoJo Jackie. And as we were talking about after the break, they have been seeming like they're on a comeback. So maybe this is something that's going to continue to push them onward and upward. What about you?
I'm not 100% sure about Lamp. Mort is a good player from what I've heard, but they also lost JoJo Jackie, who went to
Also
Synergy.
a goal player.
And I know JoJo Jackie is a good player.
Okay.
And meanwhile, Team Refuse picked up Backstaz in place of Mort. Backstaz is known, from what I've heard, for being an excellent light tank player.
Oh.
So he could round out some of the rough edges on their team.
Okay.
And at the same time, Synergy starting JoJo Jackie could be a big boon for him. So either way, my choice for that is Refuse or Synergy. I can't narrow it down.
All right, well, I can't wait to see what happens. But up first, ladies and gentlemen, our first match of the night, Noble versus Game Over. Our face-off is ready. We've got Comps on the side of Noble. Mega from Game Over. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
Hey.
How's it going?
Hello.
Comps, going to go ahead and start with you. Now, obviously, not every team is perfect going on. So the question I'm going to ask is, what have you guys as a team learned most this season?
What have we learned? Well,
Like,
we've learned to get
what-
along.
Yeah, like, what needs to be improved on based on?
Well, I mean, we introduced pretty much like a half of another team to our current team. So chemistry has been something we've worked on, and getting everyone working together. So that's pretty much one thing that we've worked on, and I'd like to see improve.
All right, yeah, definitely sounds like something that would be vital for team cohesion there.
All right, so I got a trickier question for you.
Ooh.
Now, besides yourself, this isn't a valid answer, all right? Which team do you think is best in the league?
So besides us, I mean, just making this clear, I'd say High Voltage. I mean, they're new, and they've shown that they're capable. I mean, they beat us in our first game, and the standings don't really lie. I mean, they're up there, and I see them being up there till the end of the season.
All right, good answer. You know, if you can't pick yourself, it's generally a good idea to pick somebody who beat you, because then it's like,
that's
well,
good.
we only lost to the people who are, might be
Right,
guys.
we're the best, but they got lucky on that one. Good,
Yeah,
good answer
exactly.
there. Good answer there, Comp. Mega, game over. Starting on you, now, guys. How are you guys as a team feeling about tonight's matchup against?
Yeah, we do some training last week. You're setting some stuff. We are knowing each other well now. So we just have to see.
Absolutely, can't wait to see if that preparation pays off for you guys tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Well, questions?
Oh, well, I guess the second question for you guys is gonna have to be: have you guys done anything special to prepare for Comp? Or nope?
Yeah, we watched some last battles from them. We are just learning to see how is the style moving the map to face them.
All right. Well, can't wait to see you guys in play. Comps, do you have anything to say to Mega before we get into the battle?
Nope. Good luck, have fun, and see you out there.
Great, Mega, your response.
Yeah. Good luck for you guys.
All right, gentlemen, best of luck. We'll see you guys very shortly.
All right, thanks.
Now, speaking kind of what Comps was saying there about just team chemistry being, the thing they need to work on, having almost bring an entire team, half of the team, kind of meshing two together. What are some of the things that you can do to help that? Is it just time that takes care of that, or are there certain exercises, or
Pretty much. The only other thing I've really heard of is just making it so you can only platoon with each other. Which
Okay.
is something we did for a while. I think it helped until it hurt, but I mean that's pretty much what you do. You just spend more time together. Getting to travel to live events definitely helps a lot as well.
Really?
Once you kind of see each other and hang out in person, it gets a lot easier to work with each other and not argue.
That's awesome. Good to know. Now, we have had some roster changes on one of the sides teams. I believe it was Noble. Let's take a look at the rosters. Pull those on up here. David, take a look at looking at these teams. What has changed? I know Marsh Wk6 has been added and Friction has been removed on the side of Noble. Nothing for Game Over.
Yep, so there you have it. Talk to Friction. He said that he very likely wasn't going to be able to play this season. He just didn't have the time. He was on the roster anyways, just in case that didn't turn out to be true. It did, so Noble making the adjustment, putting Marsh back on the team, somebody I remember from several seasons ago, actually.
Oh, fantastic. Now, looking at the matchups tonight, do you think it's going to be, or who do you think is going to take between Noble and Game Over? Who are you going to give it to?
Noble.
Okay. Straight off the bat, that was quite an easy.
It should be Noble.
Okay.
But Game Over has the talent to play well if they can get around some of their just basic issues. But Noble would have to make some serious mistakes, I think, to give up this entire round. They may drop some games,
sure,
for sure, but to lose overall seems exceedingly unlikely to me.
Okay, now coming from the side of Noble, is that a certain added pressure you have going into a battle like this? Like, guys, we should win. If you start losing, can that affect it may put you on tilt quicker?
Yeah. The closest thing I can remember to that kind of same situation of embarrassment and pressure is every once in a while you'd have to play against a team that didn't have 7 people.
Okay.
And you should win in that situation, but sometimes you might not, or you make a mistake, and then you get this huge embarrassment factor of, we're losing to a team with 6 people or 5 people. And that can cause some serious tilt.
All right, well, let's see if that happens tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we're into our first matchup, Noble versus Game Over on Himmelsdorf. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For Noble, 3 5100s, 3 IS-3s, and AMX 12T. For Game Over, 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a T-37. Noble is on offense. It's worth mentioning right now. With 3 5100s, they have a lot of breaking potential if they can get directly on top of their opponent. But getting there can be tricky with only 3 IS-3s. I kind of like this setup. I think if you really rehearse the movement of the IS-3s and the 5100s, kind of in concert with each other, there are ways of moving about the map where you can get those 5100s down to bear on a camp situation, and once you have a 7-on-7 with that many 5100s, as long as they penetrate 5 of their shots,
right,
it should be a guaranteed win. And IS-3 just does not match the DPM in that period of time. But getting there, like I said, is the trickiest part.
Okay, now before anything sort of kicks off here, Himmelsdorf we didn't actually see at all on Thursday, and it kind of started making me think about maps and choices. Is there usually like a phase that maps go in and out of I play it a lot, and then someone's like, well, we don't want to play this at all, so it gets banned altogether? Or is that just happenstance when we don't see a map for a while?
It's a bit of a number of things. Some teams may ban them against other teams, or they feel like they've played it a lot and they don't have a backup strategy. So they ban it because they know if they play it, they're just going to do the same thing.
Okay.
So they don't want to play it. Multitudes of reasons, but that's pretty much it. Sometimes it just happens.
Okay. It just happens that no one decided to play a certain map?
Well, they just wanted to play other maps more.
Gotcha. Yeah. Maybe they were trying something out all at the same time. But getting to the map at hand, the current setup we've got going on, Noble taking a kind of a slower approach here. Game Over not actually guarding the courtyard at all. And we've kind of seen how teams have been able to use the courtyard better. That's something that you said that you really enjoy seeing, right, is that courtyard control on this map.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important in a lot of situations. Now, it's not the end of everything. As you can see on this angle, well, we've got a minute here, there are so many different alleys, different windows, different piles of rubble that you can park things behind and fire. So if you control this courtyard, it not only prevents the enemy from using a lot of those alleys, but it allows you to drive across it. So you can get across this diagonally or vertically and get around a lot of these blind corners where traps are likely to be.
Right.
Say, for example, you came down the 3 line right now. Game Over has 2 IS-3s and a 5100 and another 5100 not too far away from that. They
Yeah.
could bring a lot of pain on you in short order. However, if you controlled this courtyard here, well, you could move almost directly on top of Game Over and they wouldn't even see you coming.
Okay.
So it's not always perfect, but it is a huge element of Himmelsdorf, and I like to see control-based strategies on this map in particular, because if you get really aggressive, basically turns into a very risky game of rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
You go the wrong way, and
You're done.
it's just GG.
Now, looking kind of at Game Over's positioning here, do you think what do you think is the best way to approach it from defense if you're going to make sure that nothing gets into that courtyard without you having a good response for it?
Mostly you need to take up positions along the 3 line, get a little bit of vision down the 8 line, and perhaps control the 2 line as well to make sure that the 3 line is safe.
Okay.
You can get shots across that whole area, but generally you're biasing yourself towards the northwest portions, so north and west or northwest portions of the courtyard itself, because you can control everything else through just sight lines.
Got it.
Game Over is taking a different approach. They're doing a hard camp in the north, and then when they don't make contact, they move down the 8 line in the east and try and come in behind their opponent. Something that we've seen them do a number of times before. If you study it, it'll be relatively easy to predict. The problem with this here, and there are some advantages if they were able to get on top of tanks without being spotted, but where Militant is should spot them fairly soon, whether he backs out or not, or even Comps will know that he gets lit, and thus, well, no, there we go. Militant knows he was spotted.
Ooh.
But I don't think he realizes anybody came down the 8 line. Game Over might have actually slipped this through, and the closest tank to see it coming would be Dodoma, but he may be dead to rights as these 25100s close in on him. It's kind of a huge oversight for Noble to allow this to happen, but we're about seconds away from Dodoma just vanishing.
Oh no, here we go. Let's see if Game Over is going to use this to their advantage and how quickly Noble can respond. There it is. Dodo taking 555 points of damage, over 1,000. One more shot and he will go down, but he actually makes it around the corner just in time. BR Game Over now in his IS-3, getting collapse spawned by Militant and Comps. Sam Samus can go on between these IS-3s battling out here on the G4 corner, but Mega and Heish coming in to save the day. And those 5100s, they have plenty of shots ready and waiting for Militant and Comps. Damage going through. The question is, can they take BR Game Over down before they go down themselves? Looks like Militant's going to be one to try and do it. Gandorfo coming in the back. One more shot. He's going to go down. No, Gandorfo's going to pick up Comp first. And there are 3 kills. Triple kill. Militant, Commander J going down from the side of Noble. Game Over doing a great job finding these overmatches. Akula now going to try his best to claw his way back. Henrique Dante being the first one to go down for the side of Game Over. Dodo, Akula, and Germ, though, Germ and Dodo are low. Akula is low on ammo. Drac now taking some more damage there. The cap pressure has been relieved. Noble has to back off there as Game Over has pushed Noble far back. Just 4 tanks remain on that side. 6 for the side of Game Over. Dodo coming around the corner. He has 4 shots. Looks like he's going to try to get that into Drac Hero. Orange Cataphrag taking a shot. Looks like from Canadian Impact. Dodoma finding Orange. Now Noble doing their best to claw the way back. Gandorfo and Mega, though, and Heish going to go and turn on the corner and find Jer. 431 points of damage to the 5100. One more shot. He'll go down, but BR Game Over is low himself. He's also a shot away. There it goes. Gandorfo picking that one up. Now just 3 tanks remain for the side of Noble. Oh, I'm not sure they can do much here as Game Over has a huge health advantage. And Akula picked up Drac Hero. Gandorfo, Canadian Impact actually finding Gandorfo. Noble doing a good job coming back. Akula in that 5100 getting tracked but finding BR Game Over. Now there's 2 tanks remain, but Mega gonna find an impact. 2-on-2. Mega though getting extreme low and Akula picking that one up. Heish is just the only member on the side of Game Over, and Dodo and Akula now on the run of their 5100s. They just have to make sure that they can get out of there before Heish spots him. He's looking for a shot through the rubble, but he's not going to find it. But 28 seconds remain. Game Over now. Heish for the side of Game Over just needs to stay alive long enough not to go down. And picking up Dodo is going to make it even more difficult for Noble to come back. And with that reload, I'm just not sure there's enough time for Akula. Game Over should pick this one up any second. 11 now. Heish just has to sit and wait and not die. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is going to go over to Game Over because Akula is not going to have his reload up in time. The first victory of our first match of the night after a very explosive battle. There it is. Game Over picking that one up. David, that was, well, I mean, you said it. Game Over got around behind, behind Noble there, and they just absolutely took him by surprise. why didn't they get spotted there? Because you said if they were to spot him, it should have been fine.
Well, Impact, I believe it was, in the IS-3. One of them was on the corner, so it was Militant and another one right next to each other. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep the names straight as I'm focusing on so many different things.
Sure.
One was on the corner, and he was behind a berm, couldn't actually see the sight line. Militant was so far in the window trying to get a shot on the guy in the 2-3 line, he couldn't see it either. So it's a situation where they're left a huge hole in their vision, and I don't know, just kind of a mistake on their part. However, Game Over making a strong play to get that. Let's go to stats really quickly.
Great, let's do it.
As strategically, I mean, it is what you saw. Kula, 12 shots, 12 hits, 9 penetrations. Some rough penetrations on that one. Canadian Impact doing 8, 6, and 5. Dodoma getting 5 out of his 6 shots in, despite getting lit up in the beginning. But that amount of hit points was a huge problem. Germ and the rest not quite getting the same kind of input into that battle. Mega Monero, on the other hand, 10 shots, 9 hits, 9 penetrations, listing him as the #1 on his team for this match. BR Game Over, Heish, all the rest of the IS-3s pretty much getting a pretty expected amount of damage in.
Sure.
A couple things I saw that went well. Game Over's disengagement from Dodoma after he escaped. Now, he shouldn't have escaped. That was a mistake.
Oh, okay.
But once he escaped, moving up to take out Militant and his partner there was debatably the right move. There's a lot of stuff that was going on there that was just strange.
Yeah.
But the way they crashed down on it, didn't hesitate to put as many tanks as they can on it. Obviously paid out for him pretty well. Maybe Noble probably couldn't have brought that back no matter how much time there was left on the clock.
All right, a great job for Game Over getting back behind Noble. Let's get into our second battle, ladies and gentlemen. Noble versus Game Over, same sides. Let's get looking right, see what we've got for our tanks.
Noble with 3 5100s, 3 IS-3s, an AMX-12T. Game Over with 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a T-37. Same lineups, side to side from last match. Noble's not going to change anything. My guess is their overall summary of discussion there was something as simple as, do it better, but we're going to do the same thing.
Okay.
So they were close enough. Not losing, 90% of Dodoma right off the bat would be a big step for improvement. Game Over looks like they are adjusting a little bit, and I like this change that they're doing. Enrique Dante and another IS-3 I can't quite read, poking out, getting ready to control the courtyard here, with Gandorfo going all the way down to that cheeky little spot we see that spots through the windows, seeing the G-line. There is a chance with his binoculars deployed. Nope, he's moving too much. You will not see them. I think that's actually a little bit too far anyways. Have to run the math on that, honestly.
Okay.
But either way, tags coming up the 8 line for Noble. Game Over has not seen them coming yet. And this is kind of a ironic reverse of what we saw last time. Game Over making the vision mistakes. Noble using the 8 line, getting too far on top of them. Big difference here is Game Over does not have a tank just ready and waiting to die. So, despite Noble getting these advantages and slipping in here, it's still not necessarily in their favor yet. This is what Game Over is set up for. Their best bet would be getting Game Over when they came out of this position, or catching Gandorfo right now.
Oh, here we go. Megan's spotted. Gandorfo doing a good job finding Commander J and Comps. Gonna put some pressure on a shot going out there. Another 515 in that T-37. One more shot. He'll go down. Commander J gonna pick that one up. Gandorfo going down really without a fight there. And David, looking at kind of his positioning there, why didn't Gandorfo just back off?
Same thing that we saw with High Voltage, all according to plan. So High Voltage showed everybody you can make a hull down position right there.
That is
by
right.
throwing away your T-37. And Gandorfo did a great job of making sure his gun barrel wasn't in the way. Unlike the last time
that happened last time, right.
So, Game Over's looking pretty good right now. As long as they have the proper flank and they don't get punished for it too much, they could very well defend for a second time here.
Let's see here as BR Game Over now getting a little bit of a stuff. Enrique Dante taking some shots on Canadian Impact down here by the courtyard. Drac in his IS-3 moving around the corner. Now looking at kind of the positioning here for Game Over, Drax, kind of come around. If he catches a Gula here, is he going to be in a lot of danger, or is a Gula just kind of, it looks like he's back actually into that little rubble there.
So it's Militant that's under a little bit of a problem, or under a little bit of a threat here. He could get drilled. One shot, 328. Not a high roll, so he's probably happy about that. Overall, Noble is starting to slip in position here. They have already given up a lot of important spots. Militant's getting bullied out. That's opening up the north in the B area just a little bit. but not perfectly. Right now, Dodoma is the only thing protecting Noble from an absolute landslide loss on this corner right now.
Gotcha.
Comps down below half. The only Commander Jay there to protect him from everything. Game Over intelligently just kind of ignoring Jay. Militant, Germ, Akula, and Canadian. All right, Noble making a little bit of a play here, bringing around 2 5100s to pick up Drac Hero, and that could pay out very, very well. Nope, Enrique Dante is going to be their target.
Look at that, looking going around the corner, but the IS3, Enrique Dante and Heist coming to back up Drac Hero. So a good move there for Game Over as well. Noble taking a lot of damage before in that little scuffle, but now Noble trying to return the damage on the side of the defenders. Heist taking 267 points of damage, but Akula takes some damage as well. Drac Hero getting in position, takes some more shots, but he's actually getting shot through Germ to the side. Now Canadian Impact going down. Comp's extremely low, but Drac Hero also getting extremely low. The fight's going on all fronts here. BR Game Over taking some damage as well up in the northern port by the cap. Cap pressure is on for Noble, down to 45 seconds. Enrique Dante getting low, but Germ gonna find the first kill of the match, on the side of Game Over. The second one falling. Drac Hero going down. And now 7 on 5, and Heist taking some more damage here. Noble starting to collapse, trying to find the overmatches where they can. Dodo coming around the corner, 2 shots remaining. He takes a shot, nothing hits. He takes some damage as well, not good. And Canadian Impact on the run still. Heist unloading his last clip there in that 5100, and now trying to get behind Mega, who is coming up now. 6 shots ready and waiting. Comes in the corner, but gets absolutely lit up. Only finding Canadian Impact. Let's see how much more he can do. Dodo is out of ammo. This is not a place you want to be in. He will go down. Mega can pick that one up, and Dodo now Mega continuing on the move. BR Game Over finding Comps and Akula picking up Enrique Dante. 4 tanks on 4 for both of these teams. Orange Cataphracts taking some damage. Jerk having some as well. Commander J extremely low. 1 more shot in that 12-10. He will go down. Akula gonna find Mega. Looks like before he had all those shots in that 5100 out. Now Akula having just 1 more shot. Heich almost on the reload. This is going to be huge for Game Over if that 5100 can't stay alive. Doesn't get a high enough roll. So now Heich has 5 shots. Akula on the reload. BR Game Over coming around the corner. Gonna find Commander J. Commander unfortunately didn't get any damage out. And now it is a 3-on-3. The health though, 1,000 in favor of Noble. 1 minute and 47 seconds. There is no cap pressure. Militant actually gonna start putting that one on. And a little bit of dance going on here. Germ finding Orange Cataphract. A good chunk of damage going in there. 1 more shot, and he should go down. Militant looks like he can poke around the corner. Let's see if he can pick this one up. 394 going into that IS-3, but he's getting closer to make sure he does not miss this ever so crucial shot. Lining that one up, firing it, taking it down, but getting taken down himself by BR Game Over, who goes down to Germ. It is a 2-on-1. Now Heich, it is a 1-on-1. It is Germ versus Heich. Heich is on the reload. Germ has 1 shot. If he can hit this, he will take him down, and Noble will pick up a victory, tying this one up 1-1. Coming in the corner, he lets it fly. A beautiful pickup there. That was risky though, but it worked out for Noble.
I was still trying to wrap my head around that last shot.
He's coming in the corner. Woo!
Just wow. Okay, let's go to stats.
Absolutely.
Right
All right,
off the bat.
let's
while
do it.
While I gather my thoughts on that shot.
That was kind of beautiful.
Okay. Apparently it worked for him. Term, 12 for 12 with 11 penetrations. 2583. Akula 12, 10, and 9. Also right up there. Dodoma getting focused out a little bit. 6, 5, and 2. Everybody else, Impact, Comps. Militant, he was kind of out of position for a number of them, but he was trying to get in key positions. I didn't get to watch him the whole time, so I don't know how much of that was just situational luck.
Okay.
Or whether it was actually planning. But Heich, 12 shots, 11 hits, 9 penetrations. Orange Cataphract, that's big. These are big numbers for IS-3s. 10, 6, and 5. And then 7, 7, and 7 BR Game Over. That is quite good shooting out of an IS-3. Mega Monero not getting his in quite as effectively. It looks like at least one of them, or 2 of them, were cleanup kills because they're kind of low numbers.
Well, now going into that though, it seemed as if, like you said, Game Over was set up and waiting for that northern cap position. Where did it go wrong? I mean, obviously it was so close, but where did it go wrong?
The biggest thing was that IS-3 that moved into the courtyard, looking for
Drac Hero.
Yeah, I believe it was Drac Hero, looking for shots and not really finding them. There are a couple places he could have shot through the windows and helped his guys kind of bully the D line where he was. They didn't quite capitalize on that very well. He got a shot in on Militant, then he backed off. He needed to get further away. As Noble correctly adjusted and brought their 5100s down, that's really what made a big difference on it.
Sure.
And then there was a lot of throwing back and forth, honestly, between teams as everything kept going. Game Over doing a great job hanging with Noble toe-to-toe with that kind of ping problem. And that kind of
That's
lag
impressive.
is a big deal. And then Germ just sending that last one, literally his
Just
last
flying.
shot
Because if it would have missed, that would have been huge.
on that corner. Flip side of that is, had he held it and had his opponent had additional shells, that could have been the game right there.
Gotcha.
He would have
So
had
he
to
didn't
find him.
know.
So
Right.
he sent it because that was probably the best situation he was going to get.
Wow.
It's still
Risky.
still raises the hairs in the back of my
That
neck
was
to see
sweet.
that kind of shot just get thrown. But
It worked out for him. They're
it worked out,
fantastic.
and it was probably the right call.
Oh.
Probably.
Well, there we go. Enough to debate. We're in now, tied up 1-1. Noble versus Game Over. Switching sides. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Noble, the 110, 250 100s, 3 IS-3s, a T-37. Game Over with 250 100s, 4 IS-3s, and a T-37. So Game Over is not changing offense to defense. And Noble is just dropping one of their 50 100s for a 110.
Okay.
As I said before, I like 110 sometimes. It's not that bad. And in this situation, sure. I think it was before they were bringing 2, and I didn't quite like it. But I like these adjustments.
Okay.
Especially if they kind of use the improvement that High Voltage and then Game Over were using on them here in the North Cap, sacrificing that T-37 in the event they need to help Canadian Impact. With those positions, really the only weakness they have left in that strategy overall is where they tend to put Germ in this spot over by the cab. It makes it a little bit easy to isolate him. It's powerful in some ways. Take a look. Right in here. Finding a camera angle on this is like the most difficult thing on this map, I swear. Anyways,
Too many buildings.
oh, there he goes. He's going right into it. Okay, so it's strong and it's weak all at the same time. You're losing a player. If the enemy finds a way of isolating him and keeping him stuck there, there's not much you can do to get out. However, if you're trying to aggress on Canadian Impact through the A line, and debatably on this corner over here, it can be a good angle, but I'm still 50-50 on it. I don't know. Situationally amazing. At other times, I just hate putting a tank in a position it can't get out of a lot of the time.
Sure. Is there any way that you could have your teammates go and help that out, or would you just take too much damage trying to, body block wherever?
It really depends on the offense and where they're set up. And I can't really get into it too much here because we'd have to get into something where I could draw on maps and
Gotcha.
really explain it. We actually have one of those handy tools in this match, but right now, Game Over is actually making some moves.
Yeah, putting 3 members now going over the hill. BR Game Over and Enrique Dante in those IS-3s, and Gandorf on that T-37 now just sitting back. Draken Orange pushing in, so we've got 4 IS-3s heading to this northern cap. Mega and Heish coming behind in those 5100s, and Commander J just kind of by himself scouting that southern end. Now, Commander's obviously not picking it up here, so Noble's got to have a good idea that Game Over is going for the north, and as Enrique Dante finding Canadian Impact, some damage going back and forth here. But looking at Noble, David, this bunch of tanks here, these 5 tanks bunched up in this alleyway, is that something that favors more of Game Over right now, or Noble?
Noble. If you try and push through that area at all, you'll get annihilated. Commander J has their rear flanks. They know exactly where Game Over can be. They know that nobody slipped through Commander J just yet. Aside from a potentially very small angle, but it's very safe to reason now that they haven't gone there. And now that he's getting all the spots, they know for sure. Noble's very happy with the kind of layout they have here. They don't have to do anything particularly special. And they should be able to hold the defense. The only real weakness here, Canadian Impact down to half. And Germ kind of being stuck where he was, but he got his damage out from where he was. Enrique Dante really only getting shot once. Right now, Noble is lower on hit points, higher on position, and debatably higher on DP. Well, they're higher on DPM, but I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily matters in this overall instance.
Okay, now looking down in the south, we got a little T-37 battle going on. Commander J from the side of Noble against Gandorfo, side of Game Over. If, let's say Game Over, Gandorfo were to pick up Commander J there, would that allow, for Game Over to do some fancy plays, or are they already so established in the north, they're just kind of really locked in what they got to do up there?
Oh, if they can kill Commander J, it opens up all sorts of stuff. They can go cap fast in the west with their T-37, guaranteeing at least one Tier 8 has to peel off to deal with it. There are so many different things they could do. They'd have visible movement all over the place, or invisible movement. Noble would have to adjust some of those 8s to end up watching the 3 line to make sure they're not getting backdoored.
Okay.
Tons of advantages. So if they can get J, that could very well be the break that Game Over is looking for. And it seems like they know that. It seems like they're going for it right now. Gandorfo very confident that he can hang with J in this situation. And so far what we've seen in tank-on-tank fights, despite the ping issue, Game Over is able to do it just fine. Looks like he sniffed him out. Both have lit each other.
All right.
And here we go.
Let's go. Gandorfo putting cap pressure on as well, but Akula coming down from the side of Noble, which would not be good for Gandorfo at all. Now it is a 2v1 and no one. Game Over can help him. A shot of damage going, also getting tracked. 2 shots going in. Commander J is going to pick this one up. No shot gets bounced, but one more shot and he will go down. There it is. Noble falling, and Germ over in the north finds Enrique Dante. The battle has begun. Noble coming out. Game Over technically has an overmatch, but it didn't look like it was going well for them at all. Game Over on the side of Game Over now. Canadian Impact, one more shot, and he will go down. Let's see if Jack Hero can land that one quick enough. Jurg, 587 points into the IS3. One more shot, he'll go down. Mega gonna pick that one up, and it is now a 6-on-5 in favor of Noble. Mega takes it in from behind, and Guinea's gonna pick up a Canadian Impact. And now evening that one out, 5-on-5. But Commander J with that flank position in that T-37. Drax says, you're not going to get this for free. Doing a lot of damage over on the side of the courtyard. And now the tanks going on the side. It is a 4v2 overmatch, clearly in favor of Noble. Milton actually stuck on the corner, but Cox is going to find Ice. Orange finding Milton. Back-to-back kills going over the side for
Nice
Noble
block.
as Akula picks up Mega there. And now Drac coming around the corner, but the cap fast is going down. 12 seconds. Game Over half. If Noble goes around the corner, they need to find a pickup quickly. And it's now down to 8 seconds. They're turning their tanks around and pushing away. 5 more seconds. Dodo does have 6 more shots. He just needs to hit one more. 2 seconds, cover in the corner. Let's see if he can find it. He takes the shot. He doesn't hit it. Akula going around. It gets down to 0. Game Over has successfully capped, finding another victory against Noble Gaming here, making it 2-1. Oh, the cap fast going through. Noble looks like they had that one for a while, but Game Over using a very smart opportunity to just really put those 3 members on cap.
I don't know if that was intended for the cap fast, but
Oh.
either way, it was very good situational awareness, recognizing that they had to stay or could stay on at that point. Huge gamble. It takes guts, but it obviously turned out to be the right one.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Very overall timeout from Noble in that instance.
Ooh, already feeling it. Feeling the pressure.
It's starting to tilt, perhaps. Game Over taking it to him.
Maybe.
Game Over is playing a strategic game we haven't seen him play since qualifiers. This is the team that I saw enter the league, and we haven't seen since. Legitimately, I mean, even though they did come very close, and in fact they even beat somebody.
Maple Freedom.
Maple Freedom. It was closer. I think it was a tiebreaker win. Either way, even then they weren't putting on the kind of show they're putting on right now. The way they moved just now, they knew as soon as they spotted Gandorfo, or as soon as they spotted the 5100 Akula coming to deal with Gandorfo, they pushed. Now they did that a little bit wombo and lost an IS-3 for it, but they picked up Germ's IS-3, like I said, being trapped where he was. Two 5100s did very good shooting to catch him out and not let him back up, because if they don't track him, he can easily sneak back around the corner and he's safe. At that point in time, the two 5100s in the 5-liner would have weak. And they know that. So they're waiting for Noble to dive on those guys and then seal them back in while they cap. But
it's genius.
They only picked up Militant. Some of the shots that they probably should have been getting weren't quite there. But either way, all of the different moving parts of their strategy are exactly what they needed to be doing. Execution in small areas would have made it an even more flawless win. But overall, doing things I haven't seen them do all season, and I'm honestly happy to see it.
Good.
I want everybody to play well.
Absolutely. It's fantastic to finally see. It's great that teams just don't give up. When they're going through. No matter how many times they've lost, they're just like, hey, we're in this league. We're here to play. I think we were asking some of the members of Game Over, do they worry about the matches coming up? Like, no, we just focus on the match at hand. Obviously, showing that tonight, you're really improving on the strategy here. I wonder if Himmelsdorf was their pickup or if it was Noble's. Who do you think that went to?
I think it's Game Over's.
Okay.
That's what I think. I've seen him play Himmelsdorf quite a bit. So that would lead me to believe it. But at the same time, Noble's pretty good on Himmelsdorf. They have a very high statistic defense rates on it.
Yeah.
Their offense is like 50-50. But overall, it's generally a map for both of them. So I think both were probably happy with it overall.
Yeah, obviously. It's actually getting extremely closely because if Noble, now coming off a timeout, picks up one more, they will tie it up 2-2. But if Game Over can pick it up, a 3-1 lead would be huge for them. I'm not sure they've actually even had that coming up into this point of the season so far. So that would be an amazing thing to pick up.
Too many battles, hard to remember if
that's
the case or not. But either way, I'm sure they'd be happy with it.
So it's a great position to be in no matter who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, we're into our next battle of our first match of the night. Noble versus Game Over. We have stayed on the same sides. Let's get into it and see what each of these teams can do.
So for Noble, a 110, 2 5100s, 3 IS3s, and a T37. For Game Over, 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and a T37. Game Over doing the same lineup they had last time, so is Noble. And I think it's worth highlighting at this point that Noble's been doing this for a long time.
Okay.
And we've already pointed out more than once that somebody is going to break what they're doing.
True.
And Game Over apparently studied, like he said, like Mega Monero said in the interviews, they've been studying, and they feel like they know some elements that they need to win. Clearly they have so far. The question is, can Noble rally back from this situation? Because I guarantee you, well, no, I'm not going to speak on behalf of teams. All I will say is many teams would be extremely frustrated with what is happening right now.
Right. Well, we actually talked about this before we came in. If you are on the side of Noble and you start losing to a team that you quote-unquote should beat, it could play a lot of psychological games with your head.
At this point, at least somebody is starting to panic that they could feel embarrassed. And what they need to stop thinking about is what could happen and start focusing on what should happen or what will happen in this moment, in this game.
Sure.
It's very easy to get caught up thinking about, well, okay, we have to win this, and then we have to win this, and then we have to win this, and just put it out of your mind. You won't win any of it if you don't focus on playing the game right here, right now.
Absolutely. Now, going off, looking at the side of Game Over, doing the same exact movements from before, sending Gandolfo, Henrique Dante, and BR Game Over on top of the hill. Gandolfo in that T37, Henrique Dante and BR Game Over in those IS3s. Now, if you are Noble and Game Over is going to pull the same tactic again this time, what are you going to do different? What should they do different?
Running this strategy, unless they have some sort of prepared response to push to the south side, or they truly believe that last time they just made tanking errors.
Okay.
Then I don't know. But last time, yeah, they made some tanking errors, but it was a strategic error more than anything else. And they're going back in these same positions. And I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it, honestly.
Okay.
Game Over has obviously studied it. Move on to something else. Even if it's still on the drawing board, that's your best bet,
Sure.
in my opinion. However, I can think of one team that's looking at this battle right now and is happy and rooting for Game Over. And that would be Simp.
Right.
They're so close to
right.
Noble in points.
That's
Even
true.
if Simp beats Noble in points, by all means, they could very well still end up tied.
Okay.
So,
if
if
Noble
Game Over
loses
beats
here,
Noble,
right,
and so does Simp, then Simp gets that little edge in the predictions.
Which would be huge for
They
him.
could be ahead of him by 3 points if Game Over takes this. So right now, guaranteed at least somebody from Simp is watching and rooting for Game Over to break this defense yet again. On the other hand, Simp also runs this defense, so they're probably taking note, realizing that maybe it's time to change.
Sure. Now, Commander J, not actually as far south as last time. He's just staying on that one line over there by the railroad tracks. Gandolfo and his T37 have decided to now move back down. Looks like he may be going for that same kind of spotting there, but not likely to have a T37 battle anytime soon. Cap pressure now being applied by Orange Cataphract in that IS3. Canadian Impact ready and waiting, taking a shot that he can to anyone who comes over the top. Canadian Impact actually firing up the hill. Looks like on the side of BR Game Over. Orange backing off Cap just for a second there. He's actually kind of dancing on it now, going back and forth. Looks like he's not going to get it at all. Why wouldn't you, if you were Orange, be putting pressure on right now?
Probably opening himself up to a shot from Canadian Impact a little bit more than he wants.
Okay.
So that's why he's staying back. Henrique Dante's position is one that I'm 50-50 on as well. It looks better than it is when you're in it. So like if you look from his angle, you think, oh, well, most of my pike is covered, right?
Right.
Not as much as you think there, buddy.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's a very deceptive position. You pretty much learn that way you learn that one the hard way. Comps
Okay.
could take him to school right now if he lined up on that. I'm not going to call out the other player I've seen use it, but all I will say is that player got wrecked, and it was a huge part of why the battle went down. But Henrique Dante getting out of that position, teaming up with teaming up with BR Game Over to push on Canadian Impact. This is not a strategic move that I think will really pay off, honestly, but we will see momentarily.
All right, Gandorf on the C-37 now fighting. But over in the city, we've got a fight going on. Ladies and gentlemen, Comps taking damage in his IS3. Impact now coming around the corner, trying to get some shots. This BR Game Over makes his way up. 412 damage going in. More damage for Game Over. Then for Noble, we've got 2 caps going on as Gandorfo over there on the 1 cap by the railroads. Commander J, though, just has to reset that. Shouldn't turn to any sort of pressure, I don't think. 20 seconds, though, on the side of the northern cap. That is something that will turn to a lot of damage here. Canadian Impact sitting there just making sure nothing can happen. He has to pop out when he can. Recess going back and forth, dropping up. Now it's up to 30 seconds as Comps moves in his IS-3. Middleton looks like he might be sandwiched here by Heish and Mega. He needs to be careful there. Heish taking some damage, 293, but now Middleton getting some response, 207 damage going through their Drag Hero. Also taking some damage, but Comps getting dropped extremely low. Middleton over 1,400 points of damage. One more shot, he'll go down. Mega picking that one up. Game over, finding the first tank of the match. And now the game is continuing. Germ in his IS-3 taking a lot of damage. David, in that position you thought wasn't good, because if you're stuck there, you are stuck there for good, and it looks like he can't do much now. Comps backing out wisely. If he did not get out of there, he would go down. Canadian Impact taking some more damage. I'm not sure if that was friendly fire or not, but that was extremely close for Comps. Canadian Impact 397 more points. It is now 4 members on the cap. 4 game over now for the North. Akula going down to Gandorfo in that T-37. A beautiful pickup there. And Dodo, when he pops out, taking some damage himself. Canadian Impact finding Henrique Dante, but Orange Cataphract gonna respond by taking Impact down himself. Orange extremely low. Dodo finding that one, but here, game over. Gandorfo back-to-back kills against Comps and Dodo. Just Commander J and Germ left. Commander J finding Gandorfo down. A minute remain on the clock. Commander J should go down here. One more shot. Mega's gonna pick that one up, and it is just Germ in that A5 positioning. Drac and BR game over coming around the corner to tell him hello. Mega as well. A shot going out. Drac actually missing that one. BR game over, lining that one up, and he picks it up. Game over. Now extending the lead 3-1 against Noble. David, it didn't look like that timeout worked out for them, and game over, continuing to show good strategy and good play here on our first map of the night.
Gandorfo pulled a huge MVP move in that overall situation. So he's putting on cab pressure, and Commander J was there to stop him. They both knew where each other were.
Right.
And then as soon as Gandorfo spotted that 5100, now maybe it's overall team communication, but as soon as he saw that 5100 start clipping and start running up the 3 line, he broke off from the southern cap, went right up the 3 line, cleaned him up, and then came into the back of the rest of the team and just started shutting him down. The overall initial angles that I said I didn't think were going to pay out, something happened there. There was at least one 5100 that was able to start lacing down that A line as soon as both of those IS-3s fired, and catch up a lot of that damage. But the 5100, I believe it was Dodoma, didn't get the angle that he needed in time to start shooting them. So once they have already fired twice, or fired once out of each gun, that's when you want to jump on them. But if you let them reload, then you can't really poke using a 5100 anymore. You'll get double tapped in the face.
Right.
So basically, Comps just ended up getting isolated out. And the way that Game Over positioned their tanks prevented Germ from pulling around the corner to assist in the A line.
Okay.
So overall, they just came up with a very well-timed, very well-paced solution to what Noble is doing. And the only way Noble can stop them is by playing very well, by executing it perfectly. So strategically, Noble still barely had an edge.
Okay.
But they can't mess up.
Gotcha.
And if they do, Game Over wins. Game Over not only didn't mess up in that instance, they played quite well.
Absolutely.
And forced a lot of panic and a lot of mistakes coming out of Noble. Game Over just proving to be a better team on Himmelsdorf today.
Yeah. And also just for the match so far, it's great to see. Again, we're talking about them. It'd be great if they went 3-1. Well, they did go 3-1. Actually, Game Over have taken a break. I'm not sure why this could be for any sort of reasons. Maybe just to high-five each other and just
stats real quick.
Have a little party. Let's go to stats real quick.
Time.
All right,
Who knows why they're taking a break? I mean, they could just be preparing for the next map, honestly, as we are making the map change. And if they're on offense, that'd make a ton of sense. All right, so Canadian Impact, IS-3 for his team, and his position pretty much being pretty stuck out there. And just Comps getting completely isolated. But overall, Akula and Dodoma doing a fairly good job. Dodoma, not enough. Not enough for his position. Akula, also debatably not enough. Anyways, BR Game Over doing quite a bit. Mega Monero as well. 9-8-8. That's some accuracy worth repping right there. That's slightly over what, if we wanted to call 100% 5 for 6, which doesn't mathematically make sense, but it makes sense based on expectations, right?
Okay.
So shooting 100% or more than 100% based on expectation. Heish living up to exactly what he needs to do there. Overall, there's your story. Greater numbers on one side is obvious, but the fact that there are 4 tanks left alive on Game Over says a lot about the overall strategic win that happened there.
Absolutely. And another thing I can't wait to look at, we're going on to steps now. One of the questions has been, will any team successfully break the step defense? Obviously, Game Over studying a lot on Noble and what they've been doing for their Himmelsdorf defense and breaking that quite successfully. Do you think that they might have a similar plan on how to do this against step?
You know, perhaps they also have some footage that they themselves have put out there from their own steps play that hasn't been particularly great, and it wouldn't be very hard for them to improve on that. So it could be a map that they wanted to play,
Okay.
because it's like, well, what you've seen is nowhere near what we're going to run next. So
Okay.
it could be a kind of an ace up the sleeve, or perhaps Noble wanted to be the ones that played it
Because they saw.
because they saw it and they thought it looked weak. However, match is getting ready to start,
right.
so list off the tanks before we discuss a little bit more about
I
that.
can't wait to get into this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it. We are now on steps. Noble versus Game Over. Game Over up 3-1. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
So for Noble, we have 2 T-32s, 2 RU-251s, 2 T-54 lightweights, and a T-21. For Game Over, an IS-3, a T-32, 4 T-54 lightweights, and a 59-16. Heish barely loading in at time on that one. Not a bad lineup for a break from Game Over.
Okay.
Depends on where they go. I would prefer, with that lineup, to go east personally, because I think it has every element you need to bully that east play, especially against the lineup that Noble's bringing here. But as we can see right now, Noble's going for a boost, trying to protect themselves a little bit. Interested to see what Game Over brings, but just on the initial positions and the tank lineup they have, they may not be able to break this one, but I would have said the same thing about their last win on Himmelsdorf. So what do I know when it comes to this match? Apparently Game Over has Noble's number.
Absolutely.
So as we were discussing, Noble has played this map a couple of times, and they have run it fairly similarly both times now, or every time. This is not quite what they've done before, but you can expect Noble to camp when they're given the option to camp.
Okay.
It's part of how they are as a team. 2 T-32s is not unexpected whatsoever. The T-21 is not unexpected whatsoever. 2 T-54s, I would say you could expect as well. The big wild card here is the 2 RU-251s. We've seen them run it before, with I believe Militant and Totema on their RU-251s. Not that it necessarily matters. Well, yeah, okay, same people. So we've seen them run basically this strategy before, except I
Okay.
believe it was Militant up top instead of Dotema.
Okay.
But I could see why you'd make that change. Dotema's known for his sniping ability, and Militant is largely known for his soldiering, so making the critical plays, jumping in front of tank shells to save opponent or save teammates, things like that.
Don't save it.
So, yeah, not to save opponents. So they are playing to their strengths right now. Very, very, very interested to see what Game Over has brought for this, because this is a lineup they could have studied, and if they put in nearly as much preparation with as much insight as they did on Himmelsdorf, they could take this as well. But it's certainly not down and out for Noble. They're only 2 matches down, and with 2 defenses first, they could close that gap relatively quickly, and then it comes down to how well they can break Game Over.
Right. And also, and going on a map, though, on steps, so defensive heavy, that still would be a lot of pressure for Noble to come back. They did tie it up here while taking 2 themselves. BR Game Over was spotted out there, took a little bit of damage in that IS-3. And that's actually a position I usually don't see an IS-3 going. We usually see lighter tank there. Why do you think they've decided to put a heavy?
Not entirely sure, to be honest. The IS-3 isn't terrible around that area, as it can find some of the angles it needs, and is still relatively hull down. But a T-32 or a Pershing would be better in a lot of ways. A lot of teams kind of have neglected the Pershing lately. Perhaps they have figured out something about the Pershing that they don't like, or perhaps they're just after the hit points. But in my experience, in the seasons I've played, the Pershing was almost always just a better choice than the Pershing, unless you absolutely needed. The 32 was. The Pershing was always a better choice than the 32.
Okay.
Unless you needed those hit points. Sorry for the verbal confusion here. Kind of still trying to figure out exactly what's going on with these tanks. The T-32 position for Game Over makes a certain amount of sense. It looks like they're just going for a cat fast, trying to pull out Noble, but
Right.
I don't know if that will work. Noble can get some spotting here, and I guarantee you at least one of these 32s has optics or binoculars or something. Let me see if I can check.
Oh, and
There we go.
Taking a lot of damage there. 2
Yahtzee.
shots going through there. 59-16. The cap has been reset. Another shot going in. 160 damage. One more, and he will go down. And they know exactly where he is, and they keep those shots going. Dormo decided to stay still. Man, that was a close one. Dave, looks like we got a breather.
So, Ex-Soldier has binoculars, and So does Canadian Impact. So there you go. Both T-32s have the ability to see all the way across that cap as long as they pose. They stop long enough for those binoculars to activate. It's also, I just don't necessarily like the cap fast in the north unless you've got some sort of hitch play, some sort of guaranteed way of protecting that guy.
Sure.
Like we've seen other teams do, get a stack with a certain amount of points, but
Oh.
Noble taking out the key element of that. Game over doesn't really have a whole lot of other options here. They need to find a way of attacking. They need to find it quickly as Mega Monero and Heish are getting ready to flank because they only have 2 minutes left and there's just no real chance unless they get a tank-on-tank fight. But even then, Dodema up where he is could be a tricky tank to kill, and then you'd have to cap. I don't see a whole lot of great options going on here for a game over at this point.
This is definitely looking in the favor of Noble. Absolutely. BR game over and his IS-3 getting down to about half health there. Going back and forth, trying to find any shot onto Noble that they can. Another shot going in there. 266 points of damage. 259. Another shot. Dodo doing a good job with that. RU 251. Looks like he'll keep going on it. Let's see if he can find another shot there before BR game over finds some safety. No, it looks like he's not going to. He lets a shot fly against the Dodo. Nothing hitting there. And now here comes the flank. Mega running in with Heish. Let's see how successful this is as Henrique Dante is getting spotted out and takes some damage going across. Another shot in that T-54. Akula going to be the first one on the focus for BR game or for game over. Let's see how much damage they can do. Mega though getting dropped extremely low. A couple more shots. He will go down 901 points of damage into that T-54. Henrique Dante running right behind him. One more shot. He should go down. Let's see who can pick it up. Dodo unleashing some more damage onto Drag Hero, it looks like there. And Game Over's flank not looking as successful as they might have hoped. Drag Hero being dropped extremely low now. Orange Cataphract 290, that T-32 getting dropped below half, and Noble has decided to collapse in on the north. Exos are running in. He has full health. So many members of Noble turning their tanks toward these couple of BR Game Over. Orange Cataphract, 268 points of damage. 2 more shots. He'll go down the ramp. No, just missing. Akula going in. Commander J gonna pick that one up. And Orange, 1 more shot. Dodo gonna finish him off. Now just 4 tanks remain for the side of Game Over. BR Game Over running in. He's gonna go down. Commander J just getting out of there without taking any more bits of damage. Oh, looks like Dodo just barely missed his shot. And Henrique Dante from the back gonna find Akula. Dodo picking up Mega. Henrique Dante should be going down there. Commander J finding BR Game Over. Just 2 tanks remain. Heish in that T-54. And it was Henrique Dante in his T-54, but he is now down. Nope. Pick up the first victory on the steps here. Canadian Impact. So much damage going out there. And I believe the time actually ran up just in time as well. But anyway, congratulations, a victory on Noble going on there. Now, David, looking, kind of talking about the Northern Cap, the cap fast technique. Would it be at all plausible to throw a tank and shield, the one getting the points like we've seen?
Yeah. Would
that help any bit more, or would it be too easy, still easy for defense?
Against a good team, no.
Okay. Okay. Oh, there you go. Denied.
It's like the Northern one on Ruinberg. Like, yeah, it can work. It shouldn't, though. Let's go to stats.
All right.
Let's go to stats. So I can stop being salty about people's Northern strats. Dodema, 27 shots, 19 hits, 15 penetrations, living the dream in that sniper spot. You are welcome, sir. 33-11.
Whoever has him on that fantasy, congratulations.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if you know Noble's gonna play steps, well, it depends on the team. Akula follows up next, another fantasy favorite, and the rest of the team just playing positionally, seeing what they get. Meanwhile, for Game Over, Heish leading the pack. Nobody else really even getting in the fight. BR Game Over's IS-3. Nope. Gandorfo, well, we saw what happened to him.
Yeah.
So, there you have it. An attempted North Cap, failed North Cap.
Yeah.
Resulting in kind of a early panicked push or a late panicked push to try and kill all tanks in a situation where it's probably not possible.
Right.
In a lineup that has a lot of DPM and a lot of hit points.
Just keeps
and a lot
going.
Of hull down
just
while you're trying to attack them.
Keeps going.
Go east if you're going to run that lineup to start, I think, on Game Over's part. But we will see what their adjustments are. If they have an artillery in their pocket, they could seriously work those 32s. That's the biggest answer for steps, honestly. I mean, it's a tier 6. Just bring the M44 and slaughter them when they try and do that poking stuff, because that's what they're relying on.
You could also, find clear shots on Dodo on top of the hill without him having any sort of response. And
yeah, that one's a little trickier, but it's certainly there.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into the next battle. Noble now 2-3 against Game Over. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Well, this might work.
Okay.
Might. Okay. 2 T32s, 2 RU251s, 2 T54 lightweights, and a T21 for Noble. Then for game over, YOLO, 6 54 lightweights and a T37.
Wow.
Pretty much know what's going to happen here, or should. I'm guessing Eastern Push just immediately trying to swarm and take advantage. They saw that Dodo got pushed up. There's a chance they could intercept that if they did it again. Noble intelligently seeing all those 54s and not pushing, because that would have been a very stupid mistake, honestly. So they know where Game Over's going. Game Over should know that Noble knows where they're going. We can play several magnitudes of mindception here, or we can see what happens, because Game Over is closing in on them very soon.
I like seeing what happens right off the bat. Just 30 seconds have passed, and Game Over already about to collapse onto this eastern cap here. Gandorfo in the center in that D5 area, getting spotted out there. Looks like by X-Soldier, doing a good job, maybe trying to get those turrets to start turning. Let's see if Noble falls for that. Coming around the corner, Militant gonna start spotting every single member. Shots going up on him, nothing connecting, nothing given, no points of damage on either side. More shots, and there the first chunk, 253 going to Mega and his T54 lightweight. They're just gonna keep running by him. Actually, gonna go ahead and ignore him up on the hill there and try to find some sort of overmatch where they can. Enrique Dante, though, coming around the corner, taking some more damage from Commander J. Now it's up to Noble. Let's see what happens as the fight should ensue. Let's see who's got the better focus fire. Let's see who got the better poking. Drag Hero taking more damage from Militant, and Impact there. He drops down to below half, and now X-Soldier looks like he's been the first focus. Height taking some more damage. Commander J coming around. Gandorfo gonna go ahead and ram him. It looks like Commander J really not taking any damage at all. Gandorfo getting extremely low. One more shot, he'll go down, but Dodo gonna pick up Drag Hero. Commander J back-to-back kills, finding Gandorfo there. 2 tanks already down for the side of Game Over. Now 3, continuing this domination. Noble has such a huge lead here. Orange Cataphract in his T54 now trying to run away. Game Over looks like they came in, really did not much at all, and now are on the run. Germ is gonna just keep running away in this T21. Enrique Dante trying to chase him down, but even more damage on the run, going out for Game Over. Militant finding Enrique Dante. VR Game Over getting tracked. He does find X-Soldier, but he should go down. The shot from Dodo just missing, and Canadian Impact going to finish that one off. Just 2 tanks remain for Game Over. Orange and Mega should go down any moment here. One more shot there. There he goes. Germ finding Orange. And now Mega is on the run against 6 full members of Noble. Game Over did try something. They tried for that Eastern Rush. It just did not work out for them in that case. Militant and Germ are the ones who are finding the damage. A little bit of Ram going in there for Militant, but Germ's gonna pick that one up. Now Noble tying it up. 3-3 on to steps. David, let's talk about that push. Like you said, if you have a lineup and you see your enemies doing that, you're like, all right, they're definitely gonna go for the Eastern cap. They put Militant up on the hill there, who did a lot of work onto Game Over as they ran through. How does Game Over deal with a tank up there once they see them? Do you do what they did and continue to push, or do you stop and make sure he's taken care of first?
You don't want to go that far east. So
okay.
We don't need to go all the way to stats. I'll tell you guys what you want to know.
Okay.
Militant topped the damage for his team with 24-35, 11 shots, 10 hits, 10 penetrations.
There it is.
Nice. All right.
Nice.
So, what you were saying, if you go that far east, you have to know Militant's going to ruin you. Now, we've seen another team, I believe it was Noble, use a spot in the east to kind of have their own version of that.
Okay.
Overall, what you want to do is once you hit that first ridge, it's like the 8-9 line, but it kind of goes diagonally.
Yeah.
You want to surf on the west side of that ridge with a little bit of middle presence to make sure 32s can't poke over and shoot you while you're coming in, and then do a little bit of just surfing up and down scout runs and find the first overmatch you can.
Gotcha.
As soon as you find one, and you know you're not going to get overmatched and balled up after you do it, you go up and over, you get the pick, you come back. And you just play keep away from wherever Militant is. Or if you go into his firing line, try and make sure that everybody's somewhat stacked up so he can only shoot one guy.
Gotcha.
So you can't always pick off who's low.
Sure.
A lot of different ways of doing it. They're all small tactic stuff, like use this depression, use this part of the hill.
You really gotta know the map.
Unless you really know unless you really know steps, you don't want to fight in that part of the map. It's too detailed, too complex, and when it comes down to it, almost not worth studying. You'd be better off like banning the map and studying a different map entirely because there's more strategies.
Wow.
Whereas that's a map where it's like you have to know everything or you're going to get ruined.
All right, well, congratulations to Noble, now tying it up 3-3. We are, ladies and gentlemen, to our next battle. We have switched sides. Game Over on defense. If they can hold just 2, they'll take it. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Noble, the T-32, 2 RU-251s, and 3 T-54 lightweights, and a T-21. Meanwhile, game over, T-32 and RU-251, and 4 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. Now, one thing to point out here, this may seem a little bit backwards, but all game over needs to do here is hold one time.
Really?
Because then they get a defensive win, and then if Noble gets the other one, then they go to a tiebreaker. Game over gets off this map, which they don't seem to be as prepared for, and they go to Ghost Town, which is more of a Himmelsdorf-style map. So perhaps, perhaps that's all they need. But obviously they want to close it out as it is. So in game over's favor, as long as they can take one defensive win.
All right. Well, that's a great. I guess that's a great place to be on, especially on a map that is so heavily in favor of defense. Just to hold one. Hopefully, they can do that for their sake. They have been bunching up here, making putting a lot of resources here on this Eastern Cap. One of the things we were talking about, as it is probably the hardest one to defend. If you are on the defensive side, the Northern Cap, you just have to pop out, poke. Noble looks like they are pushing for that Northern Cap, and even. Just kind of talk about, if putting one cap or one tank on that Northern Cap pressure is just too easy to reset, not a solid strat, what is a way to take that Northern Cap?
It's kind of a complicated thing. Let me see if we've got the time. I think we should.
Great.
Let me see
and if not, I'll just
break out this crazy tool. All right, guys.
All
right, guys. All right, boys. Okay, so here's the deal. You got a shot this direction, and you want to get some tanks into here, right? So in the event the defense needs to poke up here, you are trying to bully them from the side, or come around, or come right up and underneath. But either way, what you're looking for is to make people who are here pay for everything they're trying to do to shoot you on the cap over here.
Okay.
Now it's about as sloppy as I can draw that, as quick as I can draw it. It's my first time using it, all right? All right.
And hey,
chill
no,
out,
I
guys.
didn't say anything.
No, it's chat. I guarantee you they're going nuts for it. Either way, so here's the deal. It's a complicated thing, and I could honestly turn that map into a freaking Picasso, and you would have no idea what's going on. But
complicated.
It's a complicated thing to do. There's a lot of ifs and buts. There's a lot of statement decisions, if you will. But in the meantime, Game Over is negating all that nonsense, taking 4 of their T-54 lightweights and coming right up the middle.
That's right. And while you guys were focused on the map, Gandolfo did go down there for the side of Noble. Milton picked that one up. He was on top of the hill again in his RU-251, doing some good sniping there on higher ground. Now, trying to find Nomads so they can make it, taking some damage, but X-Shoulder, Canadian Impact, and Milton surrounding Orange in his T-32. He should go down relatively quickly. Let's see if those turrets are continuing to turn. A couple more shots. There's one. Here comes 2 from Milton. A third, but Canadian Impact actually going to go down to Enrique Dante from over in the valley. A beautiful pickup there. Orange, just one more shot. He should go down as well, making the exchange a 1-for-1. Hopefully, BR Game Over can do something in his T-54 lightweight as he's moving up to a position behind the rocks. X-Soldier, Milton, Akula, and Commander J going for this Eastern Cap. Germ in his T-21 in a nice little flanking position. Dracaro has to be a little bit careful, popping over the hill there, but he does have some backup. 3 tanks on the cap, now down to 20 seconds. Dodo getting some good bunch of shots there on top of the hill, but Enrique Dante pushing on over. Here comes Game Over. They're trying to find whatever damage they can. Ramming Middleton, a good pickup there, but 1,000 going into Enrique. One more shot, he'll go down. A miss coming out from X-Soldier, and Commander J gonna go down as well. 2 kills back-to-back for Game Over. Akula now with the response, finding Enrique Dante in his T-54. Dracuro trying to find Akula, but Akula gonna pick him up before he can get a single shot off. Akula now on the run. More damage coming out there from German. X-Soldier on top of the hill, going into high. BR Game Over, taking a shot, just missing Akula, but there it is. Looks like he actually ran into him, taking just that finishing off point with bits of damage there. Dodo doing a good job getting some damage there on the side of Game Over, but now it's 3-on-3, all tied up here against Steps, which is a 3-on-3. The HP just 100 points in favor of Noble there. And David, looking at the positions here, who would you rather be?
Oh, that's such a hard answer.
Good.
Game Over is not in great position, but Noble has to attack them as they are on offense. Noble only has a T-21, but Game Over has 3 T-54 lightweights. Game Over, this is either genius
oh, no.
or Yeah, huge mistake right there.
The argument coming out of the corner, taking a shot to Dodo, not getting maybe just a roll that he was looking for, and Dodo actually escapes with a life, and it looks like he's going to continue to escape. Germ making a shot by Mega, picking up Dodo, but X-Soldier finding high. Now Mega against Germ, a T21 against a T44. Mega coming out on top, but X-Soldier doing a good job. Find the damage. Game over. Or Mega now just needs to live. He's going to try to find some sort of cover behind the fallen enemy of Noble there. X-Soldier just needs to push up. He has plenty of time to take down Mega. 2 shots from Mega going out. No points of damage. A shot from X-Soldier and 255. That is not what you want. If you are Mega, Noble should be able to pick this one up here. X-Soldier coming around, lets the shot fly. Mega goes down. Noble picking up a 4th victory here against Game Over on offense. That's a great, that's a great
that was
pickup
so
there.
close. That was so close.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that overall match. Honestly, so much.
Just feel.
I need a minute. Let's go to stats.
All right. Maybe that'll clear your mind. Maybe that'll tell you how to feel.
All right. X-Soldier. Major carry.
Wow.
Quite frankly, 17 shots, 13 hits, 13 pens in his T54. Over 1,600 more than anybody else on his team. Dodoma following up 1390, and the numbers just dropped. 32 not being as useful overall. Mega Monero carrying his team, 15 shots, 13 pens, or 15 shots, 13 hits, 11 penetrations for 2753. And again, the rest of the team not quite getting in there. Gandorfo not living up to his previous hype.
No.
That right there could have been the difference alone. T32 relatively being isolated. Overall, I don't know what to say about the strategy that Game Over pulled there. It worked and it didn't all at the same time.
Right.
That isolation they got. So once they had Noble into the cap area, there was no muss about it. No finesse. Just take it all right over the middle.
Sure.
Shoot, kill,
Just find what
better
you can.
focus fire, moving on. They got a huge fire on one of their RU-251s that came out. I don't know who shot who in that instance, but Game Over had somebody set on fire for several hundred hit points.
Right.
And the DPM on that tank alone could have made the overall difference. I believe they had to chase down Canadian Impact's 54 lightweight for a little bit too long.
Okay.
Just a couple little things that didn't go in their favor.
Oh, so
and then
tough.
losing that 54 coming out of the trench. They didn't necessarily have to go into the trench. A lot of different things you could say side to side. People made mistakes, people made plays, but overall, Game Over just
Close.
barely.
Close.
Just barely.
But also, Gandorfo going down early on in the game, if he would have been alive there, that would have been the game, actually, I can confidently say. Ha! Right there. Ladies and gentlemen, though, all butts aside, we are right into the next battle, 4-3. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Noble with a T32, 2 RU-251s, 3 T54 lightweights, and a T21. Game Over with a T32, a T32, 1 RU-251, and 4 T54 lightweights.
Oh, here we go.
Along with a T37. Just why not?
Why not? Now, Noble just needing 1 victory here on to Game Over. And David, we were talking about how Game Over maybe just, what would be really great for them, obviously, would be 2 victories. They don't have that, so now they really just need 1 to tie it up. On defense, they should, they do have an advantage here. Be interesting to see how they will change from last time. Gandorfo hopefully won't go down as easily without any sort of response there coming out for the defensive side. And going back to what I said confidently, I can say things confidently because my confidence versus your confidence does not equate to the same thing. I don't know if people will hold me too much to that, but we got a little bit of a train going on here pushing, what is that, a T30, is that a T32? Now, David, when people do this, is this to really increase the speed of that forward tank, and how much can that actually affect the outcome of a game?
I mean, you get a tank in a position faster. Depending on the strategy, it could be hugely important. I've also noticed some weird things where sometimes your tank can kind of, I don't know if it's like a lag burst or whatever, kind of glitch out, so it can actually do damage to a teammate.
Ooh. Oh, whoa.
Obviously didn't do it this time, so GG, getting him in position a little bit faster.
Now looking
Commander J, what is going on down there?
I was going to say, looking down here, we have Henrique Dante, along with a couple other members from Game Over, taking some damage, running through, but Germ sitting back in his T21 is spotting Henrique. Germ has been nice and hidden back there. It looks like in that K8 positioning. Why do you think he, I mean, was that the plan for Noble along, just put that tank back there just a spot? Because normally we don't see defense pushing that far up.
So it's flank control, and in his position with his tank, if anybody tries to come get him, he can do a ton of damage. He can just be a huge problem. So I don't see it as a bad position at
Okay.
all, as long as you don't have a better use for your for an active tier 6 scout or something. Which, honestly, they don't need one with how many light tanks they're running. So
Okay.
it's not bad. I like it.
Great. Cap pressure now
Ish.
being applied. It looks like X-Shoulder going to be the one to put that in his T54 lightweight. Game over. Was a little out of position. They had to rush the members back, but not enough cap pressure to really make Game Over sweat at all. 70 seconds still remaining, so they've got plenty of time to find X-Soldier where he's at and get those resets. Gandorfo popping up in that T37. Commander J being spotted over there on the middle road. And Militant, again, up in those sniping positions in his RU-251, doing a lot of work there. I mean, I'd be worried if I were Game Over. He has shown just on this map complete dominance of just higher ground, just sniping down onto the enemy tanks.
Game Over playing a more active defense than we've seen a lot of teams run. 1,200 hit points, 1,100 hit points. Almost exactly in between those two numbers. Down from Noble right now and losing more.
And Dorfo going down again to Canadian Impact. Rushing up there. David, would you agree with that?
No.
Okay.
I
don't
don't
either.
tier 6. I honestly don't know what Game Over was doing there. A little bit of a throw coming out from him. Right now, Noble's just kind of getting to farm them as they move around too much. And Noble's not really even forcing them to do anything. Noble's on offense.
Yeah.
So Game Over could just sit. They're getting a lot of movement for one reason or another. Either they're just trying to find that overmatch naturally, somebody trying to move up, expecting him not to be moving, and they grab him. Or they're trying to make up their minds. Something. I'm not 100% sure what their overall game plan is here. And I don't think they are either, to be honest.
Shots going out. Looks like a lot going from Game Over. Just trying to find X-Soldier where he is on that cap. Akula taking some responding shot here. Only Orange Cataphract is spotted in his T32 there. Canadian Impact taking some shots, letting those ones fly, but as the pressure keeps continuing, Game Over are the ones who will have to respond eventually. Get lucky and find X-Soldier, who's doing a little bit of dance there on that northern cap. Militant still in that position. Looking at Commander J, and one other thing I want to point out, Germ in his T21 still sitting down there back all the way in the south. David, if you were Germ, or if you are Noble as a larger team, when do you send Germ up to join the rest of you guys?
Once you've actually initiated some sort of cap pressure, like right
Oh.
about now, that is when I would move him up, just to make sure, because there's no harm from moving him right now at all.
That's right, here we go now. Dodo joining X-Soldier, getting in front of him to start blocking those cap points, making it, doing the cap fast. 5 seconds now. Akula gonna jump on just to try to get that added bit of pressure. Down to 1 second. Game Over, not in the position to stop this. The clock strikes 0, and Noble has successfully attacked twice. Onto Game Over, onto steps. A victory now, making it 5-0, closing out that matchup. Man, that was quick. Kind of punishing Game Over for doing those kind of movements back and forth, trying to find those overmatches where there just was no.
Don't know what else to say about it. Let's go to stats for the giggles about it.
Okay, let's do it. Just for the gigs. Stats.
Look at that. Huge no. Oh, wait. Zeros.
Oh, wow.
Akula's still finding 1,000. But really nothing happening
Wow,
overall.
nothing happening at all.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Like I said, the giggles. Overall, like the stats showed, nothing happened. The Noble capped. GG.
Yeah. And just
5-3.
just no response from Game Over. They were looking so strong starting out there. Noble doing a great job winning, I believe, 4 games now in a row against Game Over. Congratulations to Noble. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll conclude our first match of the night. Don't go anywhere. We got with match number 2 right after this.